Hello everyone. Day 928, walking 5 miles per day. I'm still here, and I'm grateful beyond words to all the people on TikTok, Reels, Stories, and YouTube for the comments from yesterday's post. Because quite frankly, I was debating whether or not to continue doing this or not, because I had set this channel up to go in one direction, and now I feel like it needs to stay in that direction, but it needs to morph into something else. In the process of all that thinking, I reached out to a very good friend of mine, Marcia, who's gonna help me grow this channel with SEO when I can afford it. And I asked him point blank, I said, am I doing the right thing here, or is this channel suicide? And he replied back pretty fast. He said, you're doing you. And he said, you keep doing you, and the rest is gonna take care of itself. He said, this is not channel suicide. He said, your channel will grow. Well, he's right. Before I made this video yesterday, I had 85 subscribers. Now I have 97. That video from yesterday has been viewed, well, the short and the long combined have been viewed over 100 times, which is really good for my channel. My channel, most of my videos are not getting, but at the max 10 views right now, because I'm so new at it. So to say I'm grateful is really understating it, because I wasn't looking to quit. I want to be a voice of change in people's lives who are overweight, who just feel like they're not going in any direction. But I also want to be a voice of change for what's happening in this country. Now, knowing what I know in the last 24 hours, I think I can incorporate the two carefully. Try to be as non-political as I can. That's going to be difficult on some of this stuff, but I'm going to keep pressing on until it's obvious that I either need to reevaluate it again, or the channel just goes into the stratosphere, which I hope it does, because more people, I think, need to hear this now than ever before. I have some notes here, and I swore I was going to try to memorize them all, but I've got notes from 3 different people. And in order to get this right, I'm just going to glance at them just to refresh my memory, if you'll forgive me for today. Normally I try to memorize everything, but I've got 3 different people here that I'm wanting to quote, and I want to get it right. First and foremost, Edmund Burke. He has probably the most famous quote of all time when it comes to freedom from tyranny and our role in that. And it simply says, the only thing necessary for the triumph of evil is for good men to do nothing. I wish you could see the chills on my arms right now. The only thing necessary for the triumph of evil is for good men to do nothing. I alluded to that yesterday a little bit, not that direct quote, and then I posted that quote on my Facebook page, my personal Facebook page, yesterday. And I got a PM from a man that I've known for years. I highly respect. He's a former race car driver, and now he's very heavily involved in the political process. He invited me to a meeting Saturday. I mean, I'm nobody special. He invites everybody to this meeting. But I think he heard it in my voice yesterday, and saw it in all my posts, that I want to do something. So tomorrow, I am going to meet with 50 to 60 like-minded patriots who care deeply about where this country's going, where it's headed. And I've got, as all of you know who have watched this channel, I've got a really big mouth. I don't know how they're going to accept that because it's really hard for me to keep my mouth shut. Really hard. But we're going to see, because it's important that we don't just talk about it. We actually do something. And I've never been the guy, other than Boy Scouts. Got my eagle, by the way, when I was 13, 14 years old. Other than Boy Scouts, I've never really been involved in any groups. You know, I've always been the lone wolf out here who just keeps plugging away on his own. That's 2 days in a row with sirens, I'm sorry. Who keeps plugging away on his own, trying to figure this thing out. Floating around on this big blue marble, trying to figure it out. Well, I'm at least gonna go to this meeting one time. I hope to go more. And see if I fit in, see if I can contribute. I don't want to be a wallflower. I am a contributor. If I don't feel like I am accomplishing anything by putting my butt in a chair, I'm going to figure something else out. So I'm hoping they'll understand that. And, you know, not that I want a role or a title or anything, but I want to be involved in change. Because this country is, I don't want to be an alarmist, but with what happened to Charlie Kirk day before yesterday, we are, I think Charlie would be proud of me saying this, we're at a turning point. Because hopefully most of y'all aren't on X or TikTok. It's a cesspool. Both of them right now are an absolute cesspool, with people celebrating in the streets and celebrating at home and dancing and all this kind of stuff that Charlie Kirk was killed. He wasn't killed, he was assassinated. I cannot tell you the anger I feel when I watch those videos. I don't watch many of them, but every now and then it just, man, one will drop and I'm, Also yesterday on TikTok, all the comments were positive except for basically 2. And we're talking about a bunch of comments here. I mean, I think at last view, I got like 2,200 views on that video that I posted on TikTok yesterday. And a lot of comments. A lot of supportive comments telling me to hang in there, keep going, do not stop, was the overwhelming consensus. But one guy alluded to the fact he was glad that Charlie was murdered. I deleted that post. I didn't even respond to it. I'm not going to give people like that 1 second of my time. He's going to have to take that up with God one day. Chances are people that think like that probably don't believe in God and are immune to the fact that they're going to have to face him one day. That's on them. I'm not worried about it. I can't worry about that. The other not so positive comment was a guy talking about, well, when we have some good gun legislation to keep guns out of the hands of the mentally ill, and I'm going, dude, I left that alone. I didn't even, I told myself I'm not going to respond. You know, I will respond to every comment, but I'm not going to respond to the haters or the negative people. I'm just not. Well, 2 of my TikTok followers took the mantle for me and wore this person out. And last post from this person was, I'm not playing the game anymore. You're all words, no substance. I said, okay. Thought about that, and this morning I said, oh, we're gonna have to handle this one. So my response was something like, Well, the difference between you and me is I don't view this as a game, because he was talking about playing. I'm not playing. And then I went into the young lady in Charlotte who was brutally murdered 2 weeks ago. That wasn't a gun. That was a knife to the neck by an absolute coward. So I guess we're going to have to ban knives too, right? 1995, when my first daughter was 5 years old, the Oklahoma City bombing occurred. Many of you are too young to know that. Google it. Timothy McVeigh filled a U-Haul with fertilizer and parked it outside of a building and blew it up. 167 people died that day, including infants and children. So, no fertilizer, check. It goes on and on and on and on and on. What the left does not understand, well, what the left in Congress understands it, because every single one of them is a hypocrite, because they're sitting there saying we need to get rid of all the guns, yet every single one of them has armed security. So the point is, we need to get rid of all the guns from you guys so that the Second Amendment's, basically null and void. That way we can control you even more. The Second Amendment was not to protect the government from us. The Second Amendment was to protect us from the government. Google it. Okay, for all you gun rights people, let's just say we waved a magic wand and all the guns were gone. Every gun was banned, and they're no longer allowed, they're confiscated and all that kind of stuff. Do you think any of these tragedies would stop? If you do, I'm sorry, you're an idiot. I'm not sorry, you're an idiot. Guns do not kill people. People kill people. And until we actually address the problem of the lack of spiritualism in this country and lack of proper mental health services for a lot of people, not going to stop. It's simply not going to stop. So that's enough about guns. I can talk about guns all day. It's a touchy issue. But by the way, that rifle that shot, the person that shot Charlie Kirk, that rifle was a bolt action hunting rifle, not the ubiquitous assault rifle. Ooh. Anyway, so many thanks to all the positive comments for my two friends on TikTok who took up the mantle and went after that person. I think I might have tied it in a bow today. I feel like I did anyway. Now, for the second quote was, I don't know how many of y'all are Glenn Beck fans, but I am a big fan of Glenn Beck. And I'll tell you why. I liked him before 2016, and he went off the rails in 2016, hating on Trump. And let me preface this by saying, I didn't vote for Trump in the first primary in 2015, I think. I voted for Ted Cruz. Is Trump perfect? No. Does he make mistakes? Yes. Is he unfiltered? Yes. But no one on the planet could be doing what he's doing with this screwed up economy and this screwed up world better than Donald J. Trump right now. If you disagree with that, we disagree. Hopefully we can respectfully disagree. Both of my daughters don't agree with that, but we're respectful about it. So Glenn Beck, first 4 years, he just hated on Trump. I think maybe first 2 years. And he had an awakening. He came to the conclusion that I did, that there's no one on the planet that could handle this mess better than an ultra successful businessman to treat this government like a business. So he came around. Glenn Beck is also a dear friend of Charlie Kirk. So this hit him hard. And Glenn doesn't hold back. I mean, he was just sobbing like a baby with Megyn Kelly the other night, and I was sobbing right along with him when the announcement was made. But yesterday, Glenn got himself together, and he made a quote. Silence in the face of darkness is not an option. I made that comment yesterday, if you'll remember. I said, I cannot remain silent anymore to this, to the fact that it may destroy the channel. Okay, I'll figure something else out. I'll go to a podcast. May do that anyway, in addition to. But if we remain silent, the left wins. They win. And they'll keep trying to silence more and more conservatives. I don't know what happened, why we can't have civil discourse. Well, I do know what happened. It all started in 2008, but that's another story for another day. So don't be silent in the face of darkness. It's critical that we pick up the mantle in some way, shape, or form if we want this country to go back to the way it's supposed to be. And what it's going to take is for good men to do something, good women to do something, good college students to do something. And if that means exposing all these morons who are celebrating Charlie Kirk's death, there's one content creator on Reels, I followed him today. What he's doing is he's got friends that have ways of finding people. I don't know if they're PIs or what. So what he's doing is he's clipping these videos and he's finding out who these people are and he's exposing them. And so far, I think in one day, 5 people lost their jobs because they were celebrating Charlie Kirk's death. More and more of these people need to be held accountable. And the best way to hold them accountable is hit them in the pocketbook. Let them go to McDonald's and flip burgers for a little while. Maybe they'll control their tongue a little bit on the next time. And I'm not proposing a stifling freedom of speech. This is not freedom of speech. This is hate. It's terrorism. And I think the last time I looked, terrorism is not covered under the First Amendment. I may be wrong, but I'm not. So if you celebrate Charlie Kirk's death and you're convinced that he was what the left has been calling Trump for over 10 years, a Nazi, a fascist, and if you think Charlie Kirk is that and no one's going to persuade you otherwise, I would advise keeping it to yourself. Because social media, everything you post, everything I put up there will stay there forever. It ain't going away. So don't stay silent in the face of darkness. The final is just 2 little simple lines from Charlie Kirk. Charlie says, leave a legacy and be courageous. Now, this YouTube channel, as long as it stays up, will be my legacy. Because it, like I said, it won't ever go down unless I take it down. As far as being courageous, I'm not going to go there. I don't think this takes a lot of courage to put a camera up to my face and talk while I walk. It's going to take some courage to go to that meeting tomorrow and sit with a bunch of courageous people who are trying to affect change on the local level, which will roll to the state level, which will roll to the national level. So I'm not going to sit here and say I'm being courageous. What I will say is that in order for evil to triumph, good men must do nothing. And I'm not a bad man. I don't know if I'm a good man or not. That's for God to decide one day. But I will tell you this. I have changed. The last 2 days have changed me. And, you know, my wife is seeing it in the way I talk, in the way I walk. And there are going to be some changes. I mean, we're going to be at the gun range a lot more. We're going to be prepared, because I'm telling you right now, if one of these wimps messes with my wife or my daughters, and I happen to be there, it's game on. I'm not saying I'm going to kill anybody, but it's going to be game on. And I pray, I told my wife last night, we went on a date, I said, I pray that if I had been on that light rail when Irina was stabbed by that absolute animal, I would hope that I would react to her quicker than 22 seconds. That's how long it took someone to get to her and compress her neck. She bled out in those 22 seconds. She was gone. Could she have been saved? I don't know, probably not. But if I was those people in the video who are just sitting there watching this and cowering and afraid that they might get hurt, that's the problem. No one wants to step in because the left has made it complicated with the Daniel Penny case in New York. Daniel Penny stepped in, subdued a man. The man died. He was charged with murder and drug through the weeds. No one wants to go through that. I will. And I think everybody in that room tomorrow would. I know Mark would. So I think that's where we all as a people probably need to dig deep and decide, what are we going to do to change all this? As long as we are sheep, we're setting ourselves up for the slaughter. We need to become wolves. We need to fight back. There was a vigil for Charlie Kirk in Idaho last night, and this clown comes riding by on a moped saying F Charlie Kirk. They took care of it. They beat the living crap out of this guy, and he was still yelling F Charlie Kirk as police were carting him off. That's what it's going to take, folks. As long as they think they can push us around, they're going to continue to do it. But as soon as we start pushing back, these people have no spine. They are sheeple. They are doing the bidding of a group of people funded by George Soros to help destroy this country. That is fact. Google it. Google George Soros. Ask yourself why a Hungarian is so interested in funding absolutely everything in this country on the left. He funded Black Lives Matter. He funded and continues to fund Antifa. He is funding all these district attorneys all across the country who are letting people out. They're not given prison time. That animal in Charlotte should have never been on the streets. His own mother has said he should have been in jail a long time ago and stayed in jail. So my only wish is that each and every person watching this video, and I hope are sharing this video, will decide if they are a sheep or a wolf. That's the big question of the day, isn't it? Are you going to be a sheep, or are you going to be a wolf? I choose the latter. I've got a lot to do to get that mindset. You know, I've never been a sheep. I've never been a follower. I've always been a lone wolf out here. But there's some things that are going to have to change in my life as well. But that's it for today. I'm so grateful for everyone that took the time to comment and tell me, keep going. No, we need you. It's just, you know, for a little channel that's only been around for 2 months, to have that kind of support already not only tells me that I'm on the right track, but it tells me that I'm doing something that matters. And for this old 67.5-year soul, that's it for me. I want to do something that matters. I want to make an impact. I want to leave a legacy. And maybe, just maybe, be courageous in the attempt. Y'all have a great day. Peace.